The tragic fate of innocent prisoners. In the darkest corners of the justice system lies a truth that most refuse to see. Innocent people locked away, forgotten by the world. No fame, no fortune, no voice. Just the cold steel bars of a cell and the unforgiving passage of time. In a world where justice is supposed to be blind, some individuals are handed sentences based on lies, bias, and the whims of fate. Take Michael Brown, for instance. A man who was in the wrong place at the wrong time, caught in the web of a system that didn't care to look for the truth. He was convicted of a brutal crime he did not commit. His life, stolen. Michael's mother, a frail woman in her 50s, sits in a modest living room. Tears well up in her eyes as she speaks. He was my only son. He was always kind, always trying to help. And then one day, he was gone. They said he did something so terrible. I never believed it. I knew it wasn't him. But what could we do? The system doesn't listen. It's a story we've heard far too often, a story that continues to unfold in prisons across the world. Thousands of innocent men and women behind bars, the truth locked away, and the real criminals walking free. The robbery and murder took place on a crowded street corner, a tragic event. But Michael wasn't a criminal. He was just a bystander, unlucky enough to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yet the police had already made their minds up. He was guilty. His fate was sealed. A prosecutor eager for a win. A defense that was unprepared. A jury that didn't question the evidence. Michael's conviction was almost a foregone conclusion. But there was one thing no one counted on: the truth. For years, Michael fought to be heard. His voice drowned out by the system that refused to see him as anything but guilty. Every letter he wrote, every plea for help, ignored. A seasoned defense attorney, Sarah H. Mitchell, sits at her office desk. She speaks with conviction. Michael's case wasn't an anomaly. There are thousands like him. People who've been sentenced to life behind bars for crimes they didn't commit. And the scariest part? Some of them will never be found innocent. Some will die behind those walls. James Reynolds, a man in his 40s, speaks with calmness, but there's a deep sadness in his eyes. He was wrongfully imprisoned for over 20 years. I was in for 22 years. 22 years of my life stolen. Every day, I thought about what I would have been doing if I hadn't been locked up. And I had to live with the fact that nobody believed me. But then, one day, they found the real killer. James's story is rare, a miracle. But for every James, there are hundreds of others whose names are never cleared. People who are forever branded by a crime they didn't commit. When an innocent person is convicted, it's not just their life that is destroyed. It's the lives of their families, their friends, their communities. A ripple effect that spreads, changing everything. In the harsh reality of prison life, the innocence of those wrongfully convicted often gets lost in the shuffle. They are forgotten, not by society, but by a system that has failed them. And no matter how much they plead, how loudly they shout their innocence, it's too often ignored. Flashback of Michael's letters. Michael's letters became a lifeline, his only connection to the world outside, his last hope of redemption. But even then, the odds were stacked against him. But there's one thing that the system cannot control: the truth. And sometimes, even the deepest corruption can't keep the truth buried forever. Interview with investigative journalist Emily Hart. Seriously. I've investigated over 100 cases of wrongful convictions. Each one is more heartbreaking than the last. But in Michael's case, there was a brace, act through. A small detail in the police report that no one had ever noticed. That's all it took. That breakthrough, that tiny glimmer of hope, would set the wheels of justice in motion. But it would come too late for some. After years of silence, the truth finally found its way to the surface. Michael's case was reopened, and new evidence, proof of his innocence, was presented. It was a miracle, a lifeline. But not everyone is so lucky. For Michael, the truth came too late to salvage the life that was taken from him. But he was free. Free to rebuild, free to live, even though the scars of his time behind bars would never fade. Years in prison couldn't break his spirit. Michael now dedicates his life to helping those who are still behind bars for crimes they didn't commit. His fight for justice is far from over. His case is just one of many, and while the fight for justice may be long and grueling, every small victory is a step toward ensuring no more innocent lives are wasted in prison. Michael's story is a reminder to us all: justice isn't always fair, but it's never too late to fight for the truth. We cannot forget the innocent who remain behind bars. We must keep pushing for reform, for accountability, for change. Because everyone deserves a chance at freedom and the right to tell their own story. Thank you for watching. Be the change. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay compassionate, and never forget, everyone deserves a fair shot at justice.